cows versus beef, pigs versus pork, deer versus venison. Hey everyone, Dana here. From my experience growing up in the US and now living the past 8 years in Germany, I've gotten the feeling that the relationship toward meat and animals can be a little different in the two places. I would really love to hear other people's experience with this down in the comments, but for me, growing up in the US, it was a little bit like animals were animals and meat was meat, and the two things were kind of separate. As I mentioned in the intro, the English language often has two different names for the animal and the food, and I feel like this might have played a role in the process of separating the two things from each other. I could never imagine saying in English, like, let's eat some pig for dinner, or I am really craving some cow tonight. No, we say pork and beef and veal and mutton and venison, although poultry is the same for both. You've got chicken, duck, and goose, which are both the animals and the food. The animal is chicken and the food is chicken. So for those ones, it is the same. As a kid, pigs and cows and sheep were the things that talked in cartoons and the stuffed animals that I had laying really all around the house, not the food that I ate. Pigs and cows and sheep were animals. Pork and beef and mutton was meat. So really, from a very young age, there was that separation there between animals and meat. But German does not seem to do that. In German, Schwein is pig and Schwein is pork. Rind is beef and Rind is a male cow. The same words are used for the animal and the meat from that animal. The French language influence in England led to this linguistic split over time. English ended up with the words beef and pork and mutton coming from that French influence, in addition to the words cow and pig and sheep. Perhaps that has led to people, or at least it looks like me, growing up with this kind of separation between the animal and the meat. But I would say that it's not just the language that has played a role in this separation, but also some differences in the way that things are done in the two countries. As I mentioned in this video here, in the US, the eggs in the supermarket are kept in the refrigerated section of the store, while in Germany, they are usually just out in the aisle, not kept cold. And that was pretty shocking for me when I first saw that, but not as shocking as the first time that I brought a carton of German eggs home, opened it up, and found a feather on one of the eggs. What is this feather doing here? I can remember asking Stefan. It really caught me off guard to see a feather on the egg. I had never seen that before because in the US, the eggs are washed off when they're processed, which is why in the US, they need to be refrigerated. Of course, in the US, I knew where eggs came from and I knew that feathers were involved in the whole process, but I had just never experienced confronting it like that when getting out some eggs to make an omelet. Discovering something on the egg transferred from the hen to the egg, a feather. I had just never seen that in the US. Now, I'm not saying that this is a good thing. I'm just saying that this seems to be a thing. Actually, it would probably be a lot better if I had a healthy relationship with the fact that meat, pork, and beef is the animal, not thinking of those two things as separate things because they're not, and we really shouldn't forget that. Yeah, that seems like a really dangerous thing to forget that pork and beef are pigs and cows. I definitely think that it is important for me to work to change this way of thinking in myself, although I'm not really sure how to go about doing that, since I feel like this is a concept that has been ingrained in my mind over many, many years. But I do think that this is an important thing for me to keep thinking about. So my question for you is, do you think that language has influenced your relationship to animals versus meat? And what has been your experience with all of this? Please let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please think about giving a like with the like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more Wanted Adventure videos on Wednesdays and Sundays. And a really, really, really big thank you so much to our patrons who support us on Patreon and help make these videos possible. Thank you so much for your support. If you would like to support our videos, you can find a link to our Patreon page down in the description box below. Until next time, auf Wiedersehen! In the US, the eggs in the supermarket are kept refrigerated. Cows versus beef, pigs versus pork, beef, no. And so what